Hi, I'm assuming you're here because you're considering one of the advanced courses at BHARCS, and this is going to be the video where I explain the course to you a little bit. The first thing I really want to talk about is the course itself, the learning, the style of learning, because that's going to be very different and can possibly put you out of your comfort zone a little bit too, and so you really need to understand that. Most traditional courses, maybe in school and college, the kind of teaching or the learning is where you're given some material or a lecture or a textbook. You're expected to go through this or listen to it or sit through it, understand it, and you're given a test. Now at BHARCS, this is going to be a little different. We are going to assume that we don't need to give you any material. There's so much material out there. This is really a booming field and there are so many experts and it's growing so fast that there's no material that we can give you that's not going to get outdated like that. So we're assuming that you already have access to all of it, that it's all free. In fact, we give out a lot of free material too, webinars, articles. We do it even to, even if you're not students, we give out a lot of free material because information is not something we want to be charging for, and that's not really what the course is about. Information should be free-flowing, and we encourage our students to do it too. So we want to bring additional value, and so yes, the first part of our courses also include some quick information gathering based on what's out there will guide you, but it's what comes after, and there's quite a bit. So right after is the practical part of it. Now when it comes to practicals, typically what you see in a lot of courses that you may have seen, especially when it's practicals with dogs around, is that you are given an exercise to do with your dog, you're trying to bring about some change in your dog, and if there are a bunch of parameters, and if you and your dog meet those parameters, you pass. The trouble with that, however, is that let's say I find it incredibly easy to meet those parameters because I have a gem of a dog in Nishi and I just cruise through. And you may not exactly have the same kind of a dog, and you may not be able to pull the same thing off. And the irony of it is that neither of us end up learning too much in the process. If I just cruise through, I've not been challenged enough, I just demonstrated to you what I can do, I didn't really learn anything new and or significant. And if you're struggling because somebody has set a bar saying this is where all the other dogs are and you're trying to get there, you're constantly being pitted against them, it can be very frustrating and can often work against you. It's very hard to learn in that situation. So we look at things a little differently. We do practicals a little differently. We don't really, it's not as much what you do with the dog. It's a lot more to do with observation of different behaviors, in the different parameters of behaviors, in different situations, as a response to different things. We of course do some handling stuff as well, but it's all observation based, and most of the observation styles we use and techniques we use are what Tori Drugas taught me, and we follow a similar format for observations. Our assessments are also quite different. I'm not particularly saying, here's the bar and, do you cross it or, are you sort of subpar? If you're sort of powering through, maybe this is not the right challenge for you. So we come and we work with you to say, there is no set bar. You're going to set your bar based on what is challenging for you. So if you need the bar to be there and you're going to work up from there, that's what you need. Or maybe you've set the bar too high for yourself and you're frustrating yourself. So we again come and work with you to set the challenge up for you the way it's going to work for you, and so that you can, start working through it and powering through it. So practicals are also done a little bit differently, but it doesn't end there. I think a big part of what BHARCS education is about is what comes after analysis and application. So you've gathered this information quickly, you've done some interesting observations. Now you need to start piecing it together, start forming your own opinions, your own conclusions. It has nothing to do with what we think is right or wrong. It's what you are piecing together and forming your own ideas and building on top of it. And the last part, application. This seemingly entirely theoretical process needs to work for you. It needs to bring about meaningful change in your life and that of your dogs and that of the dogs that you help. So how will you apply this? This is the full journey of a BACS education, and we keep doing this at every unit. Every topic that you learn, you'll go through this journey. Now, if you start feeling a little intimidated and you feel like, oh, I'm not going to be able to handle it, that's okay. You're going to have constant mentorship. You're going to have your seniors, you're going to have tutors, and if you still feel like you can't do it, you don't have to continue. You would have only paid for one unit and the registration fee. It's modular pricing for a reason. If you don't feel like you're ready for this kind of learning or this intense learning at this point in your life or whatever it be, you can discontinue and think about it at a later point of time. So I would highly recommend that you go ahead and try it. Try one unit. Our first unit is one of our shortest. Experience a different kind of learning. Mainly because, the trailblazers who are doing this course now, the thing that they keep coming back and saying is that it's incredibly empowering. And that's what the design, it's by design. That's what we were hoping, that you would feel fantastic about what you're learning. You really know how to translate this into making meaningful changes in your life and that of your dogs. So just experience that. Come try one unit with us and see how it goes. So, if you're still with me and you want to give this a shot, the next part of the video is going to give you some more details on the course structure and things like that. Shall we do this?
Alright, so if you'd like to know more about the courses, the best place to start really is the website www.barcs.com. Once you're here, go right up to the top here, you'll see courses and workshops. So click on it, and hopefully you've seen all of this, it's familiar. Right on top, the very first thing you see is Canine Essential 101. And you've of course finished that. So that's why you're here. You're looking to what next. So as we scroll down here, what you're going to see is BACBEC 1 course. So the terminology is important. This is a course. This is the first time you're going to be coming across these terms. This is a course. And within a course, you have these little 4 blocks here. These are units. So keep in mind, this is a course and these are units. And when you see BACBEC 1, that definitely tells you there's going to be more than one. So BACS is going to have on offer 3 more courses. But and if you actually scroll down here, you will see in the coming soon section, you will see a whole bunch of additional units that are going to be coming up. But we don't have any of those right now. We only have the first course ready. So let's talk about this a little bit more. So when you start from up here, there's a little bit of description. You can, if you want, you can go back and check on the website or pause the video and have a look at it. Let's come down here though. So what you have here is course name, and this is the full name of the course. So BACBEC 1 is BACS Applied Canine Behavior and Ethology Certificate 1. That's the full name. And then to the right here, you see laser registration fee, £71 plus tax. This is the amount that is owed to Laser Learning Awards, our accrediting body. So once you've paid that, you come down and you start doing these units. When you look at this unit, the first thing you'll notice is right on the top here is it says distance learning. So all 4 units are distance learning here. So in this course, we don't have any other type. They're all online learning enabled. But as you go along, some of the later ones here, you'll see it says in-person intensive. So those come up later, but for now we'll stick to what's here. Now the next thing you will see in each of these units is that there is a cost associated with it, and it's different unit per unit. The cost has to do with the size of the unit, and the size has to do with how long you're likely to take to do it. So Dog Pulse is one of our shortest units. Communication is our longest unit. So you will see, or the biggest unit. So you'll see that the rest of them fall somewhere in between in terms of price and time. Except of course for the in-person intensives, those are priced and timed differently. Okay, now I'm going to take a few seconds per unit to explain what this is to you. So, dog pulse is the very first unit. It's a very simple one, and the idea is to get you introduced to our kind of learning, self-learning, also the way we intend to conduct our practicals, which is going to be interesting how we do it on a online course. So our idea of reflective logs and various different concepts like that are core to what we do, they get introduced here in the context of a specific study called dog pulse. So you're learning a bunch of things in subject matter, but also you're learning about the course itself here. Next is communications. This builds on top of what you've already done in your 101, but here we're going to fine tune it a lot more. We're going to be giving you practical exercises so that you'll be able to get better, put things into practice, see how you're doing, how to improve, how to read your dogs better, how to communicate with your dogs better, how to communicate with more and more dogs, not just your dogs. So we'll start challenging you and pushing you a little bit, and this is really expected to be the most fun unit of all. Next one is introduction to stress, and of course it's a big part of everything that we do at BACBEC. So obviously we're going to get started on this. Again, it'll build on what you've already done in 101, but we will try to do this more specific to a case study kind of a thing, so that you have something that you can start working with and seeing how to put this into practice. And the last is people management. Of course, when we work with dogs in particular, the people that they're associated with always matter a lot. They take the decisions at the end of the day, and they need to be changed, influenced. Their minds need to be changed. We need to reach out to them, get their attention. So all of that comes under people management. Be it a business that you're running, it might be an evangelical venture, an educational project, whatever it is. People management is still a big part of trying to influence the lives of animals, and so we will deal with that. And in addition, we'll talk about things like marketing and things that are important for small businesses as well. So if you have a business already, we will use that as a case study. If you have a project, we can use that. Or if you have a dream project that you want to set up, we will probably use that. But the hope is that it's going to be very, very useful to you. The next thing that we come to is the timing. How long are you going to be spending doing this? Well, it's really up to you, but there are some time limits that we set. So in order to understand that, you can go all the way down in the website, and down here in the footer you will see a document that says policy documents. So let's open that. Now you're going to see a lot of policies here, and you will be required to read many of them as we go along, but for now I'm going to start with one, which is the one here that says learning continuity and extensions policy. So in this document, I'm going to take you down to this particular section, and I'm going to call upon you to pause the video now and read this. Take a minute or two to read it. And so this tells you the kind of time limits that are being imposed on you. So they are not too tight, but at the same time you can't take forever, and you have 1 year to finish all of this course. Push comes to shove, the worst case really. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a little bit of the MOODLE website, the software that we use for learning. So this is how it roughly looks. You'll of course get a full tutorial on how to use it, so don't freak out yet. But you can see down here a lot of the units that were here. So you can see the same set of units are also here. So if you start feeling like you're a little out of your depth and things like that, don't worry about it. First, of course, I will be your tutor, hand holding you through the entire process. It's not really to say whether you pass or fail a thing, but to ensure that you're learning. So I'm not going to be giving up, and I'm going to be working with you through and through very closely through the software. But in addition, if you need phone calls, Skype calls, all of that, we'll be going through it very regularly. I'll also be talking to you through the system here with the latest announcements that we have. And then if you look at this, we also have something called a student center, so that students can chat with each other and discuss things with each other, help each other. You will be given mentors so that you can get each other's help, and encouraged to talk to each other. Additional motivation tools are also built in, so you can see some badges and stuff like that. And we have the phone app. So there's really a lot of support to help you through this once you get started.